Hey everybody, we're live here on Instagram and oh my gosh, I just had the most amazing get to know her interview with Lisa McDonald. Holy smokes, she blows my mind. She's so amazing. I just, yeah, I had tears I was holding back at one point. Really, really good stuff. And she's going to join me here live on Instagram. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get this camera a little higher up. I think that's good. Here's our friend Lisa. And oh, she's so great. I did this Instagram live for Lisa and she caught on like that. 2 seconds. The girl knows what she's doing. Here she is.
How are you? That was lovely. I can't thank
Wasn't
you
that
enough.
fun?
I certainly appreciated that. I mean, I love our energy. I love our synergy. And I just love talking to people who have depth. And I love people who are curious and people who are open and receptive to other people's, train of thought, perspectives. So the gift that you afforded me to share with your audience, wonderful questions, by the way. You ask very good, deep, meaningful questions. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. Well, thank you for sharing it all. And, there was no holding back. You really gave so much of yourself. And that means so much to me because, you're so experienced with interviewing. It's so funny. I started this like COVID, the world shut down March 13th. I have to back it up and tell you this funny story. So I always had a dream that one day I'd have a podcast. And my mom bought me this for Christmas, like 2 years ago, my own little Yeti microphone.
Yeah.
And the thing, it sat under my desk for like a whole year. And then my husband, he said, that little closet in the back here at the studio, I'm going to rip the shelves out. I'm going to insulate it. It's going to be a soundproof room, and I'm going to turn it into a podcast studio, and we're going to get an on-air sign. And I was like, yes, yes.
Perfect.
And it never happened because I could not get myself organized. I felt I didn't have the time. So COVID happens. The world shuts down on the 13th. On the 16th, I have my first guest. I didn't have a show name then, but I think you're my 24th episode now, Lisa.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
Oh my God. And I'm so happy because getting back to what I was saying, you're so great at asking those questions and being open-ended and really inviting people to share, right? And that it really takes some practice to learn that. And it was really fun with you today because I knew you would go there. And I felt a little braver today than maybe with some other guests where I was like, how much can I push?
Always push the envelope. Always.
Yeah.
Never hold back on that. Because that's the real stuff, and that's what's going to resonate with your listening audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I already consider you brave. It's so funny when I hear people talk or the language they use to describe their own trepidation or their own angst or their whatever, because what's going on for you is not what I optically pick up on or even energetically. I've always regarded you as a very charismatic, brave, engaging, gregarious spitfire woman. And so I mean, we all have our own narrative that goes on that sometimes is contrary to that, or it sends a mixed message to how we're actually in fact perceived by people. But life is too short to hold back on anything, and really that's what leads me down the whatever garden path of whatever yumminess is to evolve and come out on the other side. Because my whole approach to what I do on my podcast and weekly radio is it's unscripted and it's organic. And so when I get these big publishing houses or these TED talkers or like the Deepak Chopras or whomever, it's like, okay, can you send me a list of your questions so that I can prepare so-and-so? No, there's no questions. It's unscripted.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you believe in who you are and you believe in your message and you believe that you can like hold your own in whatever arena that you're being asked to speak, then only the truth should be capable of coming out.
Right. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So when you're doing your public speaking gigs,
I wing it.
You do?
It's all everything, live stream, everything. I don't do anything with a piece of paper or memorization attached to it. Because I think when you put yourself into that type of, I look at that as programming. When you put yourself into that type of programming, then you're more in your head about, okay, what's my cadence like? And am I remembering all my words? And am I remember them in sequence? And am I also got the enunciation and the pronunciation and the enthusiasm to go with that? Now you're mechanical, you're robotic, you're in your head, and you're not in the flow. So I think you actually, as the speaker, never mind the audience, it applies to both, but I think as the speaker, the presenter, you're actually not bringing your A game, because you're more focused and fixated on, am I getting it right? Am I doing it right? Am I coming across right? Right?
Yeah.
Rather than being in flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be in
So
flow.
that's right. So this whole getting in flow business, when you, let's say tomorrow you're going on a huge stage, Lisa, there's 14,000 people, you're going to speak to them, and you've had a million things going on that day. You had an emergency with your kids, you got like just life stuff. And all of a sudden you're walking on the stage. What happens to the brain?
Well,
Do you detach to get into, like,
I'm in
what
the
happens?
zone. Like when I'm doing
Yeah.
whatever I need to do and whatever demands and commands my immediate attention,
Mm-hmm.
I am in the zone. Like I am so in
Mm.
the zone. Um, and
Yeah.
everything else is background noise. It's tuned out. It's like there's a time and a place for everything. This is my time for this. This is what I'm
Yeah.
committed to. This is what I'm scheduled for, and this is what I'm showing up for.
Right.
So I bring it, and it's like radio. So it's like, I mean, my listenership is huge. I'm heard in 145 countries, right? But being connected with 2 global networks, my combined listenership every week that I go live is 8 million people or in excess of that, right?
Wow.
So if I focused on that, if
Yeah.
I focused on that and allowed that to, for me, it's like, no, it's me and my radio guest. We're in the zone. Everything else is plugged out. I'm not thinking about stats. I'm not thinking about metrics. I'm not thinking
Mhm.
about listenership. I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. No, I want to get to the meat and potatoes within a finite period of time of what my interviews go for.
Yeah.
I want to extract it all, and I want to dig deep, and I want to go fast right out of the gate.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, so of all the interviews you've done, have you ever had someone where you felt like somewhat starstruck, or like, or is there anybody who you always wanted to interview or that surprised you? Anybody that stands out?
They all do in their own right for their own reason. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm in quarterly contact with Oprah's people. So my big goal is to get Oprah, but I keep hearing, like,
Yeah.
and they're good. Like they're actual people, her 2 different PAs that work directly
Oh,
alongside her. And so I've sent books where they've gone directly to her. They don't just put in one of the many rooms where they collect tokens and gestures. And I know she's equally grateful for everything, but my
yeah.
stuff has actually gotten in her hands. She's actually read my
Great.
books. Um,
Oh,
so, but because she's so off the hook, and she's a powerhouse, and she's got millions and multitudes of projects and commitments and deadlines going on all simultaneously. Because of recent projects, I've been told she's not accepting interviews right now because this is what she's doing. Now, the last time I heard that,
mhm.
it was pre-COVID. So I'm not quite sure where she stands with that, but I keep going back on a
Good
quarterly
for
basis. I
you.
keep going back. Um,
Wow.
but I would say, one of the interviews that I will never forget about, because everybody's got a story, and I talk about the story, the backstory, not the gling, not
Hmm.
the sensationalized version of who they are in the media, because you can Google and Wikipedia all of that. I want to
Hmm.
know to what degree you're relatable to my listening audience in spite of your success and your accolades and your achievements.
Right.
Um, but one of the guests who I interviewed, it was the aunt, and this was international news. So the little boy whose body had washed ashore because the family was escaping Syria,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And you saw that picture of the boy who was like on the beach in Turkey, right? That it got
Hmm.
shipwrecked, and so the father of that child, he lost all his children and his wife. He was the only survivor. It had capsized, um, and so I believe the boy's name was Alan. Um, Sorry, it's because I'm put on the spot. It's kind of escaping
Yeah.
me at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, so the aunt's name was Tima. Is it Tima? Anyway, so I interviewed her, and because that was her brother who had survived that, she lost her nieces, her nephews, and her sister-in-law,
Oh,
right? So she had spoken about what that catapulted that family into, and they talked about, the obvious extremes of emotions that they would have been grappling with and that level of loss. Cardi. Cardi
oh,
was Alan Cardi, I believe was the name. I'm so
mhm.
apologetic if I'm getting that
That's
wrong.
okay.
Um, and she did a TED talk on it. And, it's like desperation throws you into purpose. So she knew, I mean, because anybody in that situation likely probably would have been suicidal, right? Like you
Hmm.
lose your whole family right in front of you, and then you've got survivor's guilt, and you've got all those other things plaguing you. And the whole objective of them escaping the tyranny and everything that was unfolding in Syria, it was for a better life. And life
Yeah.
life just ended right there. And his life as he knew it, as the husband and the father, it ended right there. So he had to reinvent himself. And what kept him going was he teamed up with his sister, who was the woman who I interviewed.
Hmm.
And so they started doing a lot of volunteerism, charity, education, public awareness on the brutalities and the inequities and what was going on that made them feel like they needed to escape in the first place. And that was also their way of keeping Alan's memory and legacy alive, and bringing people into the fold of the backstory of what was going on, and not just the way in which it was being depicted through
Hmm.
mass media, mainstream media. It was like, no, you got to hear the human story on it from the
Yeah.
dad and the father's perspective. So it's do you remember seeing that on?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Wow, Lisa, that must have been quite emotional, like for you to.
It's hard. I mean, some of the things, a lot of the things, because we go deep and it's being vulnerable, right?
Hmm.
There's nothing light and fluffy about my show. And so when we talk about what has and what does living fearlessly mean to you, how has it shown up in your life? What is your life indicative of as it relates to fear? Let's
Hmm.
talk about a time that you were immobilized by fear. So sometimes we talk about it as it pertains to the person's uh, the inception of their journey in terms of embarking upon the world of entrepreneurship. Other times we talk about it as it pertains to a significant loss that happened in their
Hmm.
life that made them take that plight, that mission, wanting to keep the memory of whomever alive to the stage, the international stage, or birth a book, an international best-selling book, or whatever the case may be. So it gets raw. It's a raw
Wow,
show.
that's great. Wow. And how can we all tune in?
Uh, so it's so Shelly, who is part of my team, she does all
Hmm.
the stuff in the background. So we upload on the Monday to all social media platforms, pre-announcing who my guest is going to be on the Friday of each week. So
Okay.
it starts out on the Contact Talk Radio Network. That's where the interview is held and conducted. But because I'm also connected with C-Suite Radio Network in New York, which is one division of many divisions of business under the whole C-Suite network umbrella, then it channels through there. It gets, then it gets calibrated up on Apple. I'm on Alexa. Uh,
Hmm.
iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I mean, anything that you can imagine where you can
Okay.
host your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate because not many podcasters get daily metrics so that they know that their message is in fact landing. It is resonating, so much so that it converts into a ranking per country for the 145 countries that
Oh,
I'm heard. So it's not the number. I don't get caught up in the ranking. I get caught up in, wow, the message of living fearlessly is resonating with people who I don't even speak the same language with,
yeah.
right?
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, that's very powerful.
Which I'm
Yeah. I mean, that stuff must bring you to tears when, in your gratitude.
Absolutely, it does. Again,
Oh,
Monica, you know me. I don't take anything lightly and I don't take anything
no.
for granted because it only takes one unforeseen circumstance which can change everything about your life as you know it today. And that doesn't need to necessarily result in you're dead, you're gone, you passed on. It could
Hmm.
be I'm able-bodied today, I might not be tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
lose my voice. Therefore, there goes my show. There goes
Hmm.
my life, my livelihood, my whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I could lose one of my children. I don't even like thinking about it because I'm all about energy and I don't want to put that shit out into the universe and that be what results.
Yeah.
But there are things that can take
Hmm.
you completely under.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the only thing that could really take me under is if anything happened to my kids.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't know if I could
That's
bounce back from
that
that.
crap's that's the world upside down. That is, I don't know how people survive that.
I don't know, unless
That-
you have another child to go on for,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Then you gotta. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. But anyway, I don't even like
Yeah.
talking about all that stuff.
No. Wow. Lisa, you're the best. So, tell the folks what a busy lady like you has going on for the rest of her day. What will you be doing today?
I'll be working on content, and
Yeah.
I'll be following up with emails. I'll be scheduling guests on the radio calendar. I don't have my kids with me today, so I don't have to worry about school pickup, um, or making a lunch for school tomorrow.
Hmm.
You know, but it's that duality. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm always a mom first and foremost. Everything comes second, regardless of the optics of what people would garner or glean from my social media. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just a very good multitasker and I'm very good with my time management. And for me, I structure things in such a way and I talk to myself in such a way, it's non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if I'm sick. It doesn't matter if somebody's just died and I just want to put my head under the covers. I got to honor this commitment. The show's got to go on.
Mm.
Right? And so it does.
Wow. That's fantastic. Next time I put the covers over my head, I'll be thinking of you.
Yeah, because I'll be kicking your butt.
That's right.
I'll be energetically kicking your butt out of bed, saying, "Get on with it."
I'm already feeling it.
I'm gonna take
I
a
love it.
screenshot of this.
That's
All
so
right.
good.
What do you got going on
Well,
today?
well, I'm going to upload you all afternoon, lady.
Woohoo!
You're going on YouTube. You're going on IGTV.
You're awesome. How long does that
Yeah.
take you?
You know what? It takes a couple of hours. So I do like Tuesdays, I don't put any expectations on myself in terms of other things I need to do. I try to leave this day open just for this. And
Yeah.
then if I have bonus time at the end, I'll do it. But I launched a few weeks ago, Lisa, some pretty little chains for people to wear to hang their masks. And
Beautiful. Smart.
yeah, and I just thought, well, maybe people will like them. And I made them in a way that you can also wear them as a necklace or a bracelet if you're not wearing your mask.
Yes.
So yeah, they've been so popular. So every week I'm launching because I try to make them all one of a kind and unique. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what I'm putting most of my time into
Beautiful.
right now. But
Good for
yeah, we got to
you.
stay safe and stylish, right?
There you go. There's no reason why one has to exclude the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
Well,
good.
you're amazing, and I can't thank you
Oh,
enough for this, Monica. And I'll have to bring you back on to Living Fearlessly with Lisa McDonald, because what's changed from the first time I showcased you is now I'm a VIP contributor for Ariana Huffington's site, Thrive Global. So, following the interview that I do with my guests of each week, then I systematically, the following Thursday is always my Thrive Global day. So, the
yeah.
feature article that I've written on the radio guest who I showcased the Friday before in terms of my takeaways, and we embed the podcast link, so people don't just read what I have to say about that particular guest, but they also get to listen and tune into the podcast.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Wow.
So, and
Wonderful.
my having the gift of that through Ariana Huffington personally,
Mhm.
that didn't exist when I had
Yeah.
interviewed you. So we'll have to change that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what, Lisa, it's so like what we were talking about earlier in the interview. When you look back, like when I think back to 3 years ago, 3 years, it feels like nothing when we had our interview together on this
Yes.
day on your show. And I mean, since then, I've changed the look and the styling of my jewelry, and I've also developed this whole like fundraising with Glam Jewels campaign I call Caring and Sharing, where I actually empower women to fundraise themselves for the causes that they believe in. So I'm really
Beautiful.
giving the power over to them now. And you know, talk about like doing things that light your heart on fire.
Yes.
It's just like I just love that part so much. And I love this. I love this talk show. I'm so grateful that today I got to share you with so many people who need you.
Well, I'm immensely
And
grateful to you, and
they do.
I think what you're doing for the collective, um, and the ways in which you choose to show up and spread your brightness, your lightness, your gifts, your skill sets, your beautiful products, your services. I think it's phenomenal. Life is too
Um,
short not to do that, because
yeah.
whatever people through being immobilized by fear or impeded by fear, people suffer.
Yeah,
there are
that's right.
people there are people who will benefit from your succinct messaging, your
Yeah.
example, your leadership, your gifts, your products, your services. And so
Mhm.
if you decide to withhold in the sharing of that, think of how
Yeah.
many people's lives won't be richly impacted or
Hmm.
shifted or
Yeah.
enhanced or improved because you selfishly. I think it's selfish when people hold back.
I do too. And you know, I think it's so important for people out there who are doing something to really listen to this type of feedback that you're giving right now. Like yesterday, a woman phoned the studio, lady named Deborah. She wanted two mask chains. We were talking about it. An hour and a half later, we finally hung up the phone. And the last part of our conversation, she started to cry and she said, "I'm so sorry. I'm going through menopause." And I said, "Hey, welcome to like me too, the perimenopause." And she said, "But I have to say to you, all of these things you're creating are giving me so much joy. And even when I can't buy everything I see, just looking at them makes me happy." And I was like, "Oh my God." And you know,
Beautiful.
it was so beautiful because yeah, we all make an impact, and you're right, we can't play small, and we can't think that it doesn't mean anything or that it's self-serving or any of that negative crap. Like
No.
you're born with these gifts for a reason, and you know, I always thought the proof was like before I was making jewelry, I was painting. Now I'm also ghostwriting for people now. I got all these
Good
creative
for
things
you.
happening. Thank you. And every time I do any of those things, Lisa, I like you said, I go into a zone. Like it's not me.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not I can't even take credit for it because I don't even know how it comes to be. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what makes
And
it authentically organic.
yeah, and it's like you getting on a stage and talking to people. The flow and the trust, it's just there and it's all
Hmm.
there and the right things are going to come out because
Yes.
you're like yeah, you're really handing yourself over to the universe to say, I need to get the right message out there to whoever is watching right now, and I
Hmm.
trust that that will happen, and
Yeah.
it
And it
just
does.
does.
Yeah, like
And it
I'm
does.
so excited to hear the feedback on our conversation today because you touched on so many things that I think people are struggling with and don't even really know how to put into words, and you did that so beautifully in the interview. So,
Well,
yeah,
you
it's
you
great.
you navigated it, right? I mean, and see, that's the thing. You wouldn't have gotten from me what you didn't facilitate making possible. That's why we're synergistically aligned,
Yeah,
right? Because if we had static energy or we weren't computing or resonating,
yeah,
it would have been a totally different interview. And I probably wouldn't have brought perhaps my best game because you didn't facilitate creating the environment or asking the actual specific questions in which you did to
hmm,
bring it out of me and to make me shine because you shone. So
right.
that's the gift that keeps on giving, right? So
Yeah,
again, it goes back to what I said in the interview. If you don't stand in your power, everybody suffers.
mm-hmm, right.
You stood in your power in the facilitation and the hosting of that interview.
Yeah.
Therefore, I did because energetically you pulled me along for the ride.
Mm. Aw, I love that.
It's
We
true.
need we need one of those double bikes.
Yeah.
Or forget the double bike. You know what? I'll put you on my handlebars.
Oh God.
We'll get a couple of king cans and we'll hit the Bronny Creek Provincial.
Yeah, that's living fearlessly magnified on Red Bull or something. I don't know what that is.
Remember doing that? My best friend and I used to do that. We'd like get a beer from her parents' basement or whatever, and one of us would double the other one to the high school dance. Those were the days.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish we went to high school together.
I do too.
I did
Hey,
things a little differently, but I still did the same shit. So, does this party get uploaded too?
yep, it does.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. This party's gonna be uploaded.
Okay.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love
Have
you
a
too, Monica.
freaking fantastic day.
Okay, and we're going to stay
I,
connected because I'm serious about getting you on the calendar and re-interviewing you and doing a feature article on you. But I would
oh,
like to take it to one-on-one, call it wearing a mask and whatever, distancing between us. But let's make it more intimate too, where it's just the two of us. I feel like I need that right now, actually.
yeah, I would love that. I'd be honored. It would be
I would
amazing.
be honored.
Oh,
No, thank you. No, thank you. No,
no,
thank
thank
you.
you.
No, 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 no. Thank
That could be
you. That could
that
go
could be the
on.
whole show. Actually, before we sign off, you know what my fear always is with interviewing?
What?
Well, it's not really a fear. Do you remember there was a sketch on SNL with Chris Farley where he interviewed Paul McCartney, and he would say to him, Paul, like, remember when you and John wrote Penny Lane? Do you remember that? And Paul McCartney would go, well, yes, of course I do, Chris. And he goes, yeah, that was really cool, man. And that's all he would do. And I'm always like, oh my God, what if I have somebody where I just like can't make a connection and I sound like Chris?
You're hilarious. That's going to be in my head for a while.
I know. I'll send you the sketch on YouTube. It's so funny.
Okay.
Okay. Love you
Love,
lots.
love and gratitude to you too, my friend. Okay. Keep shining. Seriously. Keep shining. Keep rising. And don't buy into that negative reel that tells you that you're not making a difference or that what you're doing doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it does. I'm
I
telling
love
you,
it.
I'm telling you it does. So if you're going to default to listening to anything, don't listen to that crap that you're feeding yourself. Listen to
Yeah.
this. And
Okay.
everyone else who attests to that and would echo my sentiments because it's true.
I love you. And you want to know who's doing a major happy dance right now? My mom.
Aw, hi,
Because
Mom.
you're, because you are,
Hi,
this is what
Mom.
she always says to me. Yeah. Yeah. This is Mama's message coming through you. I love it. And she's
Beautiful.
watching now going, how many more people have to say this? Yeah. But you're allowed to be our poor, my poor mom, she gets all of my, you know, when I'm down and out,
She's your number one fan, man.
yeah, man, Totally. She's the best.
Don't deny her that opportunity, privilege, honor, and maternal
Yeah.
instinct.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? She's along
Yeah.
for the ride. You guys are glued to the hip. It's
Oh,
lovely.
yeah. That's for sure. Oh, well, give your kids a big...
Put your mom on the handlebars with the king can.
Yes. Imagine. Well, you want to know something funny? My mom and I do kind of this rebellious thing. Well, it's not, but she lives in a condo now. So when I go and visit her, I visit her around 4:35 and we have a little happy hour. And she brings down 2 jars with wine and ice.
Nice.
With lids, and it's so funny. So one's usually a jam jar and one's like a herring jar, pickled herring.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I want the pickled herring jar.
You two are cute.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Love that. So are you fitting happy hour into today?
Maybe tomorrow. I think we're gonna do happy hour tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be with you in spirit. Cheers to you both.
Okay. I love it. Give your kids a squeeze.
I will. Thanks for that, Monica. Love you.
Yeah. Love you too. Bye, Lisa.
Bye, my
Take
dear.
care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much. That was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, what a great afternoon. You'll have to for sure check out the live video we did on Facebook, which will be uploaded here to IGTV later on today. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for tuning in and spending time with us. You are so awesome. And I really, really appreciate it. You guys are all just so amazing. And for all the hearts and the waves and the love, I love you all. We'll talk soon and have a great day.